Here's my tutorial on a landscape study in oil. I'm working alla prima, and so I want to prime my canvas. I find it really helps with color, and it's the same technique that Tom Thomson and the group of 7 have used. I'm inspired by their colors, their use of nature. I couldn't paint from real life because we had terrible smog, so I browsed through my favorite photos, which is where I put my references for later. Found a photo. This is my hometown. It's a location really special to me, and you can see that I've cropped it to the size of the canvas. Now with the pencil, you want to really do minimal work, just enough to get some of the basic lines down. I use the proportions of the canvas to help guide me, and the point is not to be very fussy about it, because after all, it's nature, and if something is a little bit out of place, that's fine. The one thing that I always recommend is never to split your canvas in two with the horizon line. So in this case, I've moved it up just to make the composition more dynamic, and sketching without tracing also helps me edit some things that I don't like. For example, this bush here in the focal point, I've actually moved it down a little, so it's kind of in that golden ratio, and it's not interfering. Now, when I start, I always put my photo in grayscale so I can see where the lightest values are, and that's what I'm going to start with. I love starting with the sky and the water. First, psychologically, it already feels like a huge part of the canvas is done, and then also it is also typically the lightest part. Now for mixing, I generally start with the pure color first, and then mix that into a white. And again, the primed canvas, the color underneath really helps to make the work look finished. And sometimes it's actually really nice when it shines through a little bit. A good piece of advice for oil paint is to paint from thin to thick. And so my textures are going to be the last thing I put on, and I'm starting my layers with a lot of medium in them. And you can see that I'm kind of leaving space around this complicated shape of the bush in order to figure it out later. Now, what I want to convey with this study is that sense of atmospheric perspective. So I've got basically three areas. One that's the far bank of the river, and that you could see that there's more blues, there's more greens, less detail, the color is way more muted. And now these islands in the middle, I'm going to be analyzing them to kind of separate them into lighter and darker areas. And they look really weird when you first put them on, but the one thing I love about oil paint is how you can be very forgiving and not worry about time when it comes to blending. That's often something that people struggle with acrylic, and so by softening some of these edges, I'm able to make the islands look like they're actually placed in the water as opposed to just laying on top of it. Here I am working on that bush part, and it'll probably be the last area since there's a lot of complex shapes to go around. Something else I've always been told about oils is to avoid using black, either as a way to create shadows or to create very dark hues. My go-to method is to blend burnt umber with ultramarine and then throw some other darker shades in there. And honestly, I could tell you I haven't used black in an oil painting in years and years and years. You could see that I haven't finished the far bank before I moved on to the islands closer to me, and that's because I want to see all the values in comparison. So I generally will work on multiple parts of the canvas so I could see that the hues and also the values are where I want them to be. As we're getting closer, I'm adding more yellow to my greens. They're becoming more vibrant, and also I'm creating a lot more contrast to show the individual tree shapes. Because I'm working alla prima, it's really important to preserve those very lightest and very darkest values. I can't layer things in the same way I would with watercolor or with acrylic, at least not without letting the whole piece dry, and that takes days. And so I'm just being very careful trying to paint around these little leaves there. As I'm nearing the end of the study, I like to take a few breaks and to step back, because now I'm kind of getting the fuller picture of what the painting is going to look like in the end. And so if I was rushing at the start to fill up a lot of canvas space, now I'm kind of taking my time and making decisions knowing that there's not going to be a lot of leeway for fixing things. And so I'm doing a lot of stepping back and looking at the overall effect. We are almost done. Here are the last few strokes, working on filling in those spaces. Here are all the brushes I've used. Here's my palette. It's an absolute mess. I actually never wash my brushes as I paint with oil because it takes too long, and I just get a bunch of brushes, wash them at the end. Here's the finished painting. Hope you've enjoyed it.